We're talking baseball here on the Baseball Talk Radio Show.
And hello and welcome to another edition of the Baseball Talk Radio Show. Hope everybody had a great July the 4th holiday, a happy and a healthy one. I'm Gary Mack, and my co-host Rich is on hiatus, taking a few weeks off, but he'll be back. And we are closing in fast on the All-Star game. What is it, 9 days away right now? Something along that line. Yeah, 9 days to the MLB All-Star Game 2018. We're closing fast on the trading deadline, which is the end of July. We've got some leading vote getters in that same All-Star game. Let's take a look at those in a second. But really, the season's moving along, and usually the All-Star game is considered the halfway point of the year, but not this year. They started a little bit earlier, remember? It started at the end of March, and we're going to be about 94 games in, so about 13 weeks over the halfway point as the All-Star break comes around. So a little different this year, but we still kind of consider it the traditional halfway point. But final results will be made tonight at 7 o'clock on ESPN, I believe. So check that out if you want to see who makes the All-Star game. As of July the 2nd, Jose Altuve was the big vote getter. He was leading everybody. And let's see, first base in the American League was close between Jose Abreu of the White Sox and Yuli Gurriel of the Astros. Third base, Jose Ramirez of the Indians had about a 800,000 point lead over Alex Bregman of the Astros. Manny Machado is leading at shortstop, but boy, he's got in a tough fight with Carlos Correa of the Astros. J.D. Martinez was way ahead of Giancarlo Stanton for the designated hitter spot. And let's see, for the catcher, it looked like Wilson Ramos is ahead of Gary Sanchez of the Yankees, who I believe is not even playing right now. I believe he is on a disabled list, but I'm not sure. But Wilson Ramos has got about a 400,000 point lead at that point. The outfielders is Mookie Betts, Mike Trout, and Aaron Judge. That looks like the starters as of last Monday. And over to the National League, Freddie Freeman's got the first base job lined up. Ozzie Albies of the Braves and Scooter Gennett of the Reds are in a tight race for the second base job. Nolan Arenado of the Rockies is all over Chris Bryant by about 1 million votes. Brandon Crawford looks like he's going to be the starting shortstop over Dansby Swanson. At the catcher, Buster Posey and Wilson Contreras of the Cubs. They're having a knockdown drag out there, and Kirk Suzuki of the Braves is right behind him. So a three-way race going there for catcher for the National League in this year's MLB All-Star Game. And in the outfield, we have Nick Markakis of the Braves out in front, Matt Kemp of the Dodgers, and Bryce Harper of the Nationals, with Charlie Blackmon nipping at his heels there, and Ronald Acuna Jr. nipping at Charlie Blackmon's heels. So a couple of guys right in the mix there for the All-Star Game this year in the National League. And as I said, the official announcement and final announcement of the starting lineup of the starters will be announced this evening at as we record this on July the 8th at 7 p.m., I believe it is. 7 o'clock on ESPN. So go check it out, and you'll find out exactly who the exact starters are for this year's game. And should be a good game. They'll announce in the coming weeks, or the coming days, I should say, the All-Star Home Run Derby participants. And Bryce Harper said he will only participate. Now, keep in mind, this game is being played in Washington, D.C. this year. He will participate if he's elected as a starter. Didn't know you had to have a requirement to do that, but that's what he said he will do. So he is being elected as of Monday. He was in the starter role, so we'll see what happens with that as we close in on this. And boy, the year's going fast, and here we are, 94 games at the All-Star break, and then it's all downhill from there. Pennant races, the trading deadline and the pennant races, they're all tightening up. We'll take a look at the standings in a little bit and see what's going on there, but kind of a crazy year and not fun for us Met fans. As you all know, I'm a Met fan, and it has been a very difficult and long year, but nobody's going to feel sorry for us, so what are you going to do? Let's cover some other news here. We've got some information. The Tigers announced that they have fired their pitching coach, Chris Bosio. This is a few weeks, last week or so that this happened, for insensitive comments that violated club policy in his uniform employee contract. Bosio used racially charged language towards the team employee. However, the Tigers have not confirmed the exact language Bosio used, which led to his firing. Tigers pitcher Alex Wilson said the team heard rumors about what had taken place with Bosio. I don't know if you learned anything other than how severe consequences can be. We all understand what's right and what's wrong. Bosio joined the Tigers in October when Ron Gardenhire was hired as manager before the season. He helped the Cubs win a World Series in 2016, but was fired in 2017 by Chicago. The Tigers met with players to share the news before the game they were playing that evening, and the organization holds all of our personnel to the highest standards of personal conduct, both on and off the field, the team said via a press statement. So Chris Bosio out in Detroit as the Tigers pitching coach, and we don't know what was said. They're not going to tell us. Hard to make any kind of judgment on it, unless we knew exactly what he was saying. But they thought it was harsh, and they let him go. So good luck to him in finding another job. It'll be very difficult at this stage now with this kind of thing hanging over your head. A lot like what Wally Backman was going through, trying to get a managed job in Major League Baseball. Congratulations to Oregon State. They beat Arkansas 5-0 in the decisive game of the College World Series to capture the third national championship in program history. A night after coming within a strike of losing the College World Series finals, Oregon State didn't need any sort of rally to win the NCAA title. Freshman pitcher Kevin Abel stifled Arkansas with a 2-hit complete game shutout, and Oregon State won Game 3 of the CWS Finals 5-0 to clinch the third national championship in their history. Adley Rushman drove in 2 runs. Michael Gratia and Zach Taylor each drove in 1 for the Beavers. Abel limited the Razorbacks to 2 hits and 2 walks in 9 stellar innings. He struck out 10 through 129 pitches. Wow, and that's in a college. Retired the final 20 batters he faced, Abel became the first pitcher to win 4 games in a single College World Series and the 4th to throw a shutout in the championship game. Brett Laxton of LSU was the last to do it in 1993. After winning Game 1 of the best of 3 finals, Arkansas was one strike away from its first national title in Game 2. The Razorbacks led 3-2 with 2 outs in the ninth when Oregon State's Cadden Grenier sent a 2-strike pop-up down the right field line. Instead of a title-clinching out, the ball fell in foul territory between 3 Arkansas fielders. Grenier took advantage, singling in the tying run 3 pitches later. Trevor Lamack then followed with a 2-run homer that gave the Beavers a decisive 5-3 lead in Game 2, and they went on to take Game 3. So, congratulations to the Oregon State Beavers, as they are the College World Series and the NCAA title champions for 2008, and all the best go out to them. All right, let's take a break right now and come back with some more news right after this.
We'd love to hear your comments. You can reach Gary at baseballtalkradio.com or me, Rich at baseballtalkradio.com. We'd love to hear your comments, so send them in. Subscribe to the Baseball Talk Radio show on Stitcher Radio, iTunes, or Podomatic.com. This way you'll never miss an episode. Gary, I think I'm going to go over to baseballtalkradio.com and listen to all the baseball talk shows there. Do you think I can cram it all in on a weekend?
No, I don't think so. It's going to take you quite some time, but there's a little bit of everything there. Cover most of the teams and Japanese baseball, fantasy baseball, all there at baseballtalkradio.com, the home of great baseball talk shows. And go check it out. It's a great place. And if you'd like to help us out a little bit, you can go to patreon.com, become a sponsor of the show. Help us out. $2 a month, $1 a month, anything you can give it all would be gratefully appreciated, and help us do more of this kind of thing, the video, and expand our capabilities, and maybe some on the road surprises in the summertime. So that's patreon.com/baseball talk. Give whatever you can. We'd greatly appreciate it. Please go and help us out.
You're listening to BaseballPodcasts.net.
Wouldn't it be great if you could get a PhD in life through baseball? Welcome to Baseball PhD, a tour company for your brain. 30 major league teams, 100 places to see. Let's touch them all as we make the road trip of a lifetime.
Okay, and we're back. And Commissioner Rob Manfred is at it again. He's talking about the DH to the NL in a recent radio interview. He poses the question, is it time for the NL to use a designated hitter? He says it's possible, and they will continue to talk about it. It has long been a constant source of conversation among fans, among people in the game, but I do not think that we are on a path that inevitably leads to a designated hitter in the National League, Manfred said. I think it's going to remain a topic of conversation, outcome to be determined. Please, 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 let's not ruin the National League game like we've ruined the American League by putting this insidious, stupid rule called a designated hitter in. It's one of the worst things that ever happened to the game of baseball. It really has. It's just ruined it. I mean, there are kids now that don't even get a baseball glove. They get a bat. They don't know how to feel the baseball anymore. Because from Little League on up, they're just hitting. I mean, that's nuts. You're grooming people to be designated hitters and cutting the chances. Kids, pick up a glove. Learn how to field. Learn how to catch the ball. Learn how to throw the ball. Learn how to bunt the ball. Learn the fundamentals. Because just being a hitter is not going to get you to the major leagues. It's ridiculous. And if he thinks they eventually try to get it in, it'll be a sad day if it ever passes in the National League. I think there's enough owners that despise the rule. Plus, it's going to cost them more money. Those designated hitters want big money. And all it does is keep guys that probably shouldn't be playing baseball anymore on the roster. Look, I can remember in '73, Willie Mays shouldn't have been playing ball anymore, but we didn't have the designated hitter, but he was still with the Mets and had to play center field. Now, there are those that say, well, if you had a designated hitter, you could see Willie Mays hit and not play the field, but he was not that kind of player. He was an all-around player. And if by not seeing him play, you never got the feeling for what he could do as a ball player. Yeah, he looked bad at times, but at times he looked like he was 21 again. And look, maybe he should have been retired by that point anyway, 42 years old. So we don't want guys hanging around just because they can still hit or whatever. That's not the way the game is played. Next, they'll be having designated runners and everything else. So you get a guy that can still hit, but he can't run anymore, and you'll just have somebody stand there. When he hits the ball, they'll run. It's kind of wacky. It's too crazy. Manfred also discussed the legalization of sports gambling, acknowledging its potential benefits. We understand that it's here to stay, Manfred said. We have to expend time, effort, resources to make sure that the increased legalized gambling doesn't become a threat to the integrity of our game. We also recognize that gambling can be a source of fan engagement. We want our fans engaged with our sport in every possible way, and we will take advantage of this new landscape to try to make people even more interested in Major League Baseball. Of course, the issue is more complex than just the positives. Manfred's biggest concern is the potential of point shaving and other nefarious behavior. The deepest fear, Manfred said, is that somehow people involved in betting try to influence the outcome of the game on the field. That's the deepest fear. That's not going to be easy to do. And that's why, in a way, this ruling by the Supreme Court was a little stupid, allowing states to take sports betting and legalizing it essentially across the country. Any state that wants to do it. States are jumping on this like crazy because of revenue. It's a big-time revenue raiser, and that's what they're all about. So Manfred went on to say, integrity monitoring is a really expensive undertaking. It's very sophisticated. It involves the analysis of massive amounts of data in order to detect patterns in betting that can be of concern. Yada, yada, yada. Here we go with the data again. Yeah, it's not going to be cheap to do it and to keep an eye on everybody. And but now baseball wants to embrace gambling, and yet Pete Rose can't get back into the game. Henry Mejia, the only player ever to be suspended for a lifetime for PED use, just got reinstated. But Pete Rose is still out of the game. All right, let's take a break. One more break, quickie, and be back after this message.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for interesting baseball talk, opinions, and history.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for barbecue recipes, tips, and interviews from the world of barbecue. If you like baseball and if you like barbecue, then tune in to Baseball and BBQ. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and BaseballTalkRadio.com, along with Mets Musings and other great baseball podcasts.
Okay, thanks, guys. And we're back. Let's take a look at standings in the American League. The Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees continue to fight it out. Boston with a 61-29 record. Let me get this back up there. There we go. And the Yankees with 57-29. They are 2 games back. Tampa Bay is in third with a 500 record. And they're virtually out of it. In the Central, Cleveland Indians are pulling away. They are at 49-38. They have a 10.5 game lead over the Minnesota Twins, who are at 36-48. The Detroit Tigers are 11 games out at 40-51. And in the West, Houston is back on top at 60-31. They have a 3.5 game lead over the Seattle Mariners, who are at 56-34. Oakland is hanging in there, but pretty far behind, 10 games out at 49-40 in third place. And the Angels, who were up there at the beginning of the year, are at 500 at this particular point in time. And looky, in the National League East, we've got the Philadelphia Phillies and the Atlanta Braves in a virtual tie for first. The Phillies are at 49-37 as we record this. Atlanta is at 50-38. The Washington Nationals are 5 games back at 45-43, and who would have thunk it? I mean, who would have thought that Philadelphia and Atlanta would be the 2 teams that are fighting it out for first place in the National League East? It's just kind of unheard of. Nobody thought that at the beginning of the year. Well, and everybody thought Washington was going to run away with it. Washington's only 2 games over 500, and they're 5 games back. They can still put it together in the second half of the year and take this division. But very exciting to see these 2 young teams up there and fighting, and they're both hungry. And they got good players on their team, so this is no fluke, folks. They belong to be there, and they're really making a statement this year in the NL East. In the NL Central, the Milwaukee Brewers have a 1.5 lead over the Chicago Cubs. Milwaukee checking in at 53-36. The Cubbies are at 50-36. The St. Louis Cardinals are in third at 46-42. They are 6.5 games out. Everybody else is below 500 in the division. But how about those Cincinnati Reds? They had quite a run there. 6-4 in their last 10, and they're not as bad as everybody thought. So they really put together a nice little season, and they're only 14 games out. So congratulations to them. Seemingly starting to turn it around a little bit in Cincy. So good luck to them. Arizona's got the lead out west, game lead over the LA Dodgers. Arizona at 50-40, and the Dodgers at 48-40. Colorado slipped to third with a 46-43 record. They are 3.5 games out. And the Giants are at 46-45, but only 4.5 out. So that division is very, very tight. And that's going to be one of those divisions that you have to watch going down to the wire, because it looks like it's going to be tight the whole part of the end of the season. So really going to be an interesting thing to watch, along with the NL East, the National League in general. All the races are, at least there are two team races at least in every division. AL East is going to be a 2-team race. The AL Central is virtually over. And the West, that could be interesting. Though it looks like Houston's starting to right the ship and take control of that division. So that's where we're at on July the 8th. And I don't know if anybody saw this story. I happened to see this one. Kind of a sad story, but a weird story just as well. A man was found dead in a walk-in beer cooler at SunTrust Park, home of the Atlanta Braves. Todd Keeling, 48, died while installing his beer tap invention, according to his family. Keeling's body was discovered inside a walk-in beer cooler. The investigation is still unfolding. It has not been determined whether it was foul play. According to his family, Keeling was at SunTrust Park installing DraftWell, his invention that is designed to reduce pour times. His family said the invention had been installed at other Major League ballparks, including the Chicago White Sox's Guaranteed Rate Field and the Minnesota Twins Target Field. This from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Fran Kuchter said her nephew was excited to learn that another MLB stadium wanted his beer tap technology, DraftWell, which was going to cut down on pour times at SunTrust from a 14-second average to 5 seconds. Kuchter said he had been working on the invention since he graduated college. This is his dream since he was a kid, Kuchter said. Federal patent records show he filed an application for his system for reducing foam at tap invention in 2014. Both the Braves and Delaware North Sports Service, the concessionaire SunTrust Park, issued statement in light of Keeling's death. The Atlanta Braves are deeply saddened by the passing of Todd Keeling. We admired the passion he had for both his company and his product. Our thoughts and prayers were with his family. He was a kind friend who dedicated his life to elevating the draft beer experience, Delaware North said in its statement. We salute his passion and dedication to revolutionizing the beverage industry. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family. So nobody knows what happened. They just found this guy dead. He was putting in these beer taps, and apparently, who knows whether it was foul play, whether he had a heart attack or what, but no follow-up on that story yet. But if we get one, kind of weird, huh? Isn't it? A beer tap installer. And finally, you probably heard about this by now, but let's well, I don't know if we should read this, but yeah, go ahead. Archie Bradley gives a whole new meaning to the statement "that's foul." In an appearance on the Yahoo Sports MLB podcast, Bradley revealed to a Yahoo's Tim Brown that he pooped his pants. That's right. Soiled himself during a game this season. Bradley said, I was warming up to go in a game. I knew I had the next hitter. I knew he was on deck. The at-bat was kind of taking a little bit. As a bullpen guy in these big situations, I call him nervous peas, where like I don't have to pee a lot, but I have to pee before I go in a game. I can't believe I'm telling you this, Bradley said. Bradley continues. So it's a 2-2 count, and I'm like, man, I have to pee. I have to go pee. So I run in our bathroom, and quick, I'm ready to go. I'm trying to pee and actually poop my pants. Like right before I'm about to go in a game, I poop my pants. I'm like, oh my gosh, I know I'm a pitch away from going in a game, so I'm scrambling to clean myself up. I get it cleaned up the best I can. Folks, you can't make this stuff up. I can button my pants up, and our bullpen coach is saying, hey, you're in the game. So I'm jogging to the game to pitch with poop in my pants. The conversation was prompted when Bradley was asked about Brewers pitcher Adrian Hauser, who spewed chunks, that's right, he vomited, behind the pitcher's mound earlier in June. Bradley pitching to a 2.19 ERA and a sub-1,000 whip as a member of the Arizona bullpen went on to say he pitched a clean inning following his problem. I don't think it was such a clean inning. At least it might have been on the field, but not for him. And I think with that, we will draw this show to a conclusion. So until the next time, have a great week, and we'll see you again as I crumple up this paper and throw it in the garbage can on the Baseball Talk Radio Show. See you next time, everybody.